The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemy. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Joy, good, and mercy should follow me all the days of my life, and I should dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 23.
Have you ever seen one of those books that have like hidden images on the page? Where you have, this one's called The Magic Eye, where you have these colors and shapes and all sorts of stuff on every page that create this hidden image if you look at it just right. I remember my parents used to have a bunch of these, and I really struggled with seeing what was on the page. It didn't matter how long I stared at it. It didn't matter what I did. I could never quite see the image that was supposed to be seen on this. And it wasn't until somebody said, hey, you need to get really close to the book and then slowly pull it away. So you'd have to get real close and slowly pull it away for you to finally be able to see the whole image, which I always found interesting because our parents always said, don't cross your eyes. They're going to get stuck that way. Oh, you need to go read a book. Here's a good one to teach you how to cross your eyes. Always seemed odd to me, but that's besides the point. But you always had to get close to see the full image of what you're trying to see. And I think that's important for us as we dig into this Psalm 23. As we look, sometimes it's easy to look from a far perspective and look at the whole chapter. And I think sometimes we miss things in Scripture when we don't look closely at each specific thing. And so I don't want us to miss any important parts of this Psalm 23. So we're going to be focused and make sure we're looking at the right things from a good perspective before we pull back and look at all of Psalm 23 by the end of the month. You see, Psalm 23 is written by a man named David. He was a shepherd himself, and there are really two main characters in this poem or in this chapter of Psalm 23. The first is the shepherd, or God. And God is a very real person who is kind and strong, who loves us more than anything else in this world. And God shows himself to us primarily through his son Jesus. As John 14:9 says, anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. And Jesus is the ultimate good shepherd. John 10:11 through 15 says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he's a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Just as the Father knows me and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. You see, we focus a lot on the shepherd, or God, in this psalm, and rightfully so. But the other character is the sheep. And as we study this passage, we need to remember that this poem, this Psalm 23, is written from the perspective of the sheep. This entire psalm is as if the sheep could speak about its shepherd. This is describing the life of the sheep and what it's like to be under the care of its shepherd. So Psalm 23, verse 1, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Now I have a question. Do you like to be told what to do? Now I think this toy room is a good example of the answer to that, because to our core, we like to feel like we're in charge of our own decisions, right? I have two boys where we have asked over and over again, hey, can you clean up the toy room? And let's face it, they could not survive without their mom and I, mainly their mom. But when we ask them something simple like, can you clean the toy room? They don't like to do it. Maybe your kids are different. Maybe they're perfect, but mine aren't. And I think if we're honest, we're a lot like my boys. Or we don't ever change, I guess you could say. Most of us like to feel like we are in charge. Like we make our own decisions. We are in control and no one needs to tell us what to do. And the sheep in this psalm are quick to respond that the Lord is my shepherd. They're quick to proclaim that I am not in charge. I'm not the one who's making my decisions, but God is. I am his possession. So then after proclaiming their allegiance to the shepherd, he mentions how the sheep we do not want. What does that even mean? Does that mean like they're not allowed to want anything, or I don't want a nicer car, I don't want this, I don't want that? Not necessarily. The sheep just understands and realizes that under the care of its shepherd, all of its actual needs, all the things he really needs in life are taken care of because the shepherd is so good. He trusts the shepherd in all facets of life. I think oftentimes the wants and desires we have in our life, we so badly want or we feel like we need these things, is due to a lack of trust. And really, I think there's a deep correlation between the first two parts of verse 1. Part 1 with being the Lord is my shepherd, and the second part being I shall not want. When we can fully embrace that God is our shepherd, we can be in a place where we don't want anything. We don't need anything else. A good shepherd like God is one that provides, protects, loves, and cares for its sheep. Not everything will be easy or simple, but we can look ahead knowing that we have a good shepherd who is always with us. A shepherd that we can always trust, no matter what.